Hello, welcome to McDoll Strategy and Tactics, and thank you to our subscribers. In this series, we play through each of the battles in the American Grand Campaign in Close Combat 4, the Battle of the Bulge. We use historical World War II US Army doctrine to plan and conduct each battle. We start on the strategic map. It is 1600 hours on December 21, 1944, and the weather is overcast. Artillery has been allocated, and there is no air support and no supply drops. In the last episode, the after-action review for Turn 11, we examined the battle to date, reviewed enemy and friendly dispositions, and gave orders to subordinate units. For most American units, the order is defend. The next battle is at Simmerath between the US 14th Cavalry Group and the German Kampfgruppe Peiper from 1st Panzer Division. Three-storey buildings dominate Simmerath. Holding the hotel, the church, and the large three-storey building next to the square should be your prime objectives. After these buildings are secure, you should keep the road to Baugnez clear as a path of retreat. The forest, south of the town, can be used for flanking movement, so guard it as well. On the US side is an American cavalry battle group from the 14th Cavalry Group, under command of Colonel Devane. It moves very fast, and reserves are at half strength. The company consists of 3 platoons. First platoon is mostly armoured cavalry, M8 Greyhounds and M20s. Second platoon is mostly dismounted recon scouts. And third platoon includes 2 anti-tank guns and 2 Stuart light tanks. The original squads retain their names and statistics. Let's rename the new squad off camera. Now, let's review each of the squads. 3-1 is 3rd Platoon Headquarters. 1-1 is 1st Platoon Headquarters Command Half-Track. 2-1 is 2nd Platoon Headquarters. 2-5 is a Dismounted Reconnaissance Squad. 2-4 is also a Reconnaissance Squad. 3-4 is a Stuart light tank with a 37mm gun. 1-3 is an M8 Greyhound 37mm. 1-4 is an M20 with a heavy machine gun. 1-5 is also an M20 with a heavy machine gun. 3-2 is a 3-inch anti-tank gun. 3-3 is a 57mm anti-tank gun. 1-2 is an M8 Greyhound 37mm. 2-2 is a recon squad. 2-3 is an M9 bazooka team. And 3-5 is a Stuart light tank. Next, let's look at the map and conduct a commander's estimate of the situation. Our mission is to defend Simmerath. A number of roads converge at the small village of Simmerath. The village consists of 2- and 3-storey wooden buildings with a 4-storey church tower to the north. The area immediately around the village is clear, but soon gives way to forest. Observation from the village buildings is good, and the roads make natural fire lanes. The village buildings also provide good concealment to infantry, but the wooden walls do not provide much cover against direct fire. The surrounding forest is an obstacle to vehicle movement, channeling vehicles into the village and along roads. Key terrain includes the church tower, the Simmerath Hotel building to the west, the 3-storey building to the south overlooking the square, and the road to Baugnez to the west. Each of these points controls movement through the village. The surrounding forest means the roads and open fields are the avenues of approach for vehicles. From the west, number 1 is over the open fields to the north, number 2 is up the road from Baugnez towards the centre of Simmerath, and number 3 is over the open fields to the south. The Americans are expecting contact with Kampfgruppe Peiper from 1st Panzer Division. So, we can expect the Germans to bring at least a troop of panzers, along with Sonderkopffahrzeug half-tracks and supporting Panzergrenadier infantry. The Germans are advancing from the east along the road to the Reich, and the road to Baugnez is the likely German objective. As both sides were consolidating their forces from this morning's battle, the Germans may have infiltrated some forces into the town. But this is unlikely to be their main axis of attack due to the potential presence of American forces on their flanks. Instead, the Germans are likely to once again attack west from an assembly area in the forests south of Simmerath. The panzers could occupy a support fire line, firing over the open fields at the buildings around the crossroads. Meanwhile, infantry could use the woods to the south to infiltrate closer to the crossroads. The killing zone would be the tree line to the east, destroying the German support fire line and dislocating the infantry. Alternatively, the Germans could use the same support fire line to isolate the town with fire, while infantry clear the town building by building from southeast to northwest. The killing zone would be the roads to the northeast, catching the Germans in the flanks as they advance in the open. The other possibility is that the Germans make a concentrated attack south from an assembly area in the woods to the northwest. This assembly area is very close to the objective, and massed German forces could rapidly overwhelm any defenders, seize the objective, then mop up remaining American units. The killing zone would be the forming up point in the woods to the northwest, catching vehicles and infantry as they emerge from the woods. As in the last battle, faced with the tantalizing possibility that Kampfgruppe Peiper is running out of forces, yet the terrifying possibility they will once again reconstitute in full force, the American tactics need to be both bold and cautious at the same time. The American positions remain largely unchanged since the last battle, except they now occupy the northeast corner of the town, largely ruling that out as an axis of attack for the Germans. So the American options remain largely the same as in the morning's battle. The first option is a simple reconnaissance outpost. One dismounted recon team would occupy each of the Hotel Simmerath and the three-storey building. Their orders would be to observe into each of the assembly areas and attack routes and report back. This would provide the company with indicators of German presence and early warning of any attack. Otherwise, the Americans would remain in their defensive positions, ready to fire into the killing zones. Once the German tanks were destroyed, the Greyhounds and Stuart tanks would move forward to clear the remainder of the town. This plan would be cautious. The second is for the Americans to conduct a harassing attack. The Americans would use the Hotel Simmerath and three-storey building not merely to observe into each of the assembly areas and attack routes and report back, but to fire into those locations. And the bazooka team would once again join the recon outpost in the centre of town to fire into any tanks or armoured vehicles moving through Simmerath. An additional reconnaissance team in the town to the northeast would maintain observation over this area. The Stuart tanks would move up to the Simmerath Hotel to cover the flank of the woods to the northwest, with the Greyhounds in a blocking position south of the woods. The anti-tank guns would continue to dominate their zones of fire and prevent vehicle movement along or across the roads, with the remaining vehicles at the crossroads to deal with any German infantry infiltration through the woods. This harassing tactic would disrupt any German attack and distract the Germans from concentrating force against the main defensive position. This plan would be bold. I have made my decision and have placed the platoons and squads in position. First platoon headquarters behind cover at the crossroads, ready to counter German infantry. The Greyhounds to the north, covering the northern approach. And the M20s taking cover behind the buildings southwest of the square, also covering north but able to counter German infantry to the east. The recon teams of 2nd Platoon spread amongst the buildings to provide early warning and screen the anti-tank guns from attacking German infantry, with the bazooka in the three-storey building. 3rd Platoon's anti-tank guns covering the sight lines along each of the roads leading northeast. And the Stuarts at the Hotel Simmerath, covering the woods to the northwest. And so we begin. The Germans have infiltrated the centre of Simmerath. Ramos's 57mm anti-tank gun destroys the Befehlspanzer 4H. And German infantry and vehicles are moving north from an assembly area in the woods. Russell's bazooka has 2 targets. Hit, but not destroyed. Flanking shot on the Sturmgeschütz. Russell destroys the Sturmgeschütz. The flame half-track is immobilized. No German forces in the woods to the northwest. Acosta's Stuart moves out.
Wir geben auf! Nicht schießen!
3rd Platoon headquarters targets German infantry on the road. German infantry surge forward, rushing the 3-storey building. The recon team is wiped out in hand-to-hand combat. Acosta's Stuart tank is immobilized. It is now a pillbox.
Riley! Keep your heads down.
Zabalowi dead, Russell has 1 more shot. Misses. And is killed. Leach now moves his Stuart tank. Mad Dog's squad is under fire. And Mad Dog is hit. Sterling's recon squad has moved forward. Galindo advances his M20. Acosta's Stuart knocks out the Panzer 4H 7.5cm. Another Sturmgeschütz moves up. A long-range Panzerschreck shot at Galindo misses. The Greyhounds now join the fight.
Nailed him!
Team redeployed!
Feldwebel! Ein Fliegengeschoss!
The Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251 by 16 Flammenwerfer has been destroyed, its crew killed or wounded. Roger's recon squad picks off German infantry pushing north. Carter's squad puts small arms fire into the mortar half-track. The M20s move up. Leach's Stuart is having trouble moving around. Roger's recon squad has destroyed the Kommandowagen Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251. Miller targets the mortar half-track. Total American victory. The battle ended because the Germans' force morale got too low and they were forced to retreat off the map. The Americans gained control of the map and the German battle group was forced to disband. The Americans won the battle because they control a greater number of crucial victory locations than the Germans. Can this be true? Kampfgruppe Peiper forced to disband? The Americans lost 5 killed, 4 wounded, and 1 tank damaged, a Lindo Stuart. The Germans lost 21 killed, 19 wounded, 3 tanks destroyed, and 3 armoured vehicles destroyed. Let's examine the American squads. Mott and Roy and Miller's Greyhound share credit for an armoured car kill, the mortar half-track at the very end. Zelensky and Roger's recon squad is awarded the Combat Infantryman's Badge for knocking out the Kommandowagen Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251. Sadly, Hale and O'Neill are badly wounded and Gibbs killed in the recon squad at the 3-storey building. Russell and Zabaloui share credit for the Sturmgeschütz kill, but both are killed. In 3rd Platoon headquarters, Gonzalez and Henderson are killed, and Maddox and White seriously wounded. Kaznanzik and Quatermain in Ramos's 57mm anti-tank gun share credit for a tank kill, the Befehlspanzer 4H. Horn and Quinn in Acosta's Stuart tank share credit for a tank kill, likely the Panzer 4H. Horn is awarded the Combat Infantryman's Badge. So far, the campaign remains a major American victory. The Grand Campaign has 11 days remaining. Your defence of the Ardennes is progressing better than your historical counterparts. Cumulative American losses are 393 killed in action, 398 wounded in action, 50 tanks, 5 vehicles, and 18 guns. Cumulative German losses are 1,031 killed, 987 wounded, 152 tanks, 146 vehicles, and 1 anti-tank gun. So, what did we learn? Wow, what a knife fight! It turned out the Germans had in fact infiltrated the town and had tanks, armoured vehicles, and infantry within touching distance of the American defensive position. And this was their covering force, as their actual objective was not the crossroads to the southwest, but securing the road to the Reich in the northeast, leading them to attack from the woods in a south-to-north clearance with infantry supported by a Sturmgeschütz and Sonderkraftfahrzeug. Nonetheless, despite their covering force, this movement exposed their left flank to American firepower, and the American squads went to work. Sadly, the little outpost in the three-storey building was again annihilated, but not before destroying a Sturmgeschütz and drawing German attention away from the American defensive position. The small outpost in the northeast also destroyed a Kommandowagen, thus retaining the road to the Reich and preventing the Germans from securing their objective. But this battle rapidly felt like going all in on a hand of poker. With all semblance of a careful plan thrown out the window, one by one the American squads threw themselves into battle, creating opportunities to destroy the Germans. The anti-tank guns, the Stuart tanks, the M20s, the Greyhounds, and even the recon squads. And in this poker battle, the Americans got the upper hand, defeating the Germans and at long last forcing Kampfgruppe Peiper to disband. At least, for now. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. And stay tuned for the next episode.